Alrighty, good evening everyone and welcome back to the 5USC United States Cup for the only match of today. Yes, that's right, we're so late in the tournament that it is a Saturday evening and we only have one match, that being New Jersey A versus Florida A, brought to you by me, Bless, and Levine. Of course, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing quite well. I finished a hike like this morning, 7-mile hike. I'm kind of tired, but hopefully I have more energy to commentate this. But, Florida, they're kind of in a run of their own, despite, not maybe facing against like really strong opponents, barring from Indiana. So this time around, even though Virginia was competitive, let's see, differential is still there. But now this is actually a real fighting opponent that is going to fight for that top 3 here in this New Jersey roster that just lost to SoCal in that semifinal. So excited to see what Florida has to offer here.
Yeah, also it must be said that in those close wins last week, 7-6 and 7-5, Florida was playing without one of their very important players, Porafor, a newcomer who has shown some really good stats throughout the tournament so far, some really good performances. Some really strong ults, some pretty good tech scores as well, and just everything overall filling in the gaps of the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
So gonna be looking to hopefully be playing with their full roster this week against New Jersey and show why exactly they deserve to be in the final stage of this tournament and in the bidding for one of those top 4, top 3 podium spots. We are just getting ahead right away into the bans, it looks like.
And unfortunately, this Saramongoose custom is banned from the set of New Jersey A and Hidden 3. This could be a target ban against specifically one player in Vona, being that kind of main carry now, improving massively throughout the years compared to what they displayed last year here, and kind of resulting in that 5WC team appearance and improving much more further in AIDS 3, I think winning it out as well. And here for Florida, I think their highest placement so far in this iteration of 5USC.
Yeah, they are currently on their strongest run ever at the moment. Only previously maxing out in the 9th through 12th spot, always losing in that first round of semifinals 3 years in a row, but with the arrival of Vona 8 Sandwich on the scene, he has brought quite a bit of new life to this roster. Also, it has to be stated, or has to be mentioned, excuse me, the return of Equivocator, Mikey M, and FireGen to the lineup is also playing a pretty big role, or excuse me, the additions of FireGen and Mikey M, with Equivocator being a returning player. Actually, 4 new players, or at least new to A-Team, on the Florida roster this year, those being FireGen, Mikey M, Fesco, and Porafor. Some of those coming up from the minor leagues, and then Porafor making his first appearance this year. Putting on quite a show in Florida's strongest bid in this tournament ever.
Yeah, so Equivocator coming from that B team. I guess I would argue that 2025 roster had a more denser roster in terms of its depth because of dragons and also dubs as well. But maybe, and also Noob, but Noob moving to North Carolina, they kind of take a hit, but instead, that doesn't really matter now, and when you're in that 5th, 6th place here in a surprise round. Maybe the competition was much denser in that last year. I mean, we did see that super teams of Texas and Georgia coming in, but yeah, this time around though, Florida, their chance to go to top 4 here, and we're already seeing all 4 bans from both of these teams, Hidden 3, Nomad 1, Hidden 2, and DT4, and right away we're seeing a Nomad 3 first pick, probably from that Hidden 3 ban that New Jersey just displayed there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit confusing for me looking at this Nomad 3 first pick. Nomad 3 is generally a pick that you'll choose early if you have someone who's just really comfortable on it, and I think they're probably just playing into Porafor here, but the Hidden 3 being a lot of flow tech. Like, just imagine your stereotypical hidden three, like hidden three, the map.
Yeah,
And it's
basically.
kind of it, except it's just really, really well done by Sour Mongoose.
Hmm.
So I don't really see the connection there between those two.
I mean,
But regardless, I do think it's a good first pick for Florida.
yeah, we could probably do a stats watch. Only in semifinals, only Florida played number 3. New Jersey did not really play here. Um, the map was also kind of snap over if I remember correctly.
It was the
Um,
swing aim map.
yeah,
Yeah.
swing kind of, yeah. And this could probably be a comfort thing for the side of Florida here. Maybe they're really comfortable in that snap out thing, but against like a team like New Jersey, it can be a little scary here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at other potential maps that were from last round. I guess the most comparable map was Hard Rock 3, but that was something like the second least played map in the entirety of the pool last round. So yeah, there's
Hmm.
not really a solid comparison we can make for these teams in terms of the higher SR realm. Of course, uh, we can. So that does leave us to sort of just look at the players and think, okay, who's really good on these skill sets? And I mean, Poor 4 is supposed to be really, really good at the alt. I don't think we've seen too many alt performances from him so far, but definitely going to be keeping an eye on him. And then just some really strong aimers to accompany in Randy Orton, also known as the Equivocator, and Firegen for Florida. On the other side, for New Jersey, however, it can be Yoshi Lover, Little Nebula, and Celebi, some very strong, very scary mechanics players
Yeah,
to
I
go
mean,
up against. So,
I'm,
be
I'm
rough
kind of
one.
surprised with the roster because Celebi and Lil Nebula with the more mechanics oriented kind of thing, and also I would have kind of expected Bona to be in here as well with what he displayed in A's kind of being that carry performance that they needed to win it out here. But I guess with Snapball being very mechanics heavy, it is in their benefit to play this here. And right as we entered into that first Ki, we're seeing the Equivocator miss. I mean, there was that earlier miss from Poirier, if I remember correctly, so it's still actually kind of in the favor of New Jersey with that combo advantage. But as I say that, Celebi did just miss there.
Yep, first major miss traded back, and so, I mean, there's a little bit of a combo advantage, especially as 4-4 breaks now. There's a clear combo advantage for New Jersey at the moment, and Yoshi Lover and Nebula holding on to their FCs throughout that first Ki. There's a little bit of a bridge section here, but it does look like they'll hold it safely into the second verse. And that lead is really going to start ballooning in just a bit. You know, these J-pop songs, they do have the sort of map structure of free section into diff spike into free section into diff spike into semi diff spike into ending, you know.
Yeah.
So gonna be able to build up the score a little bit, but not for too long as we do get into that second Ki section.
Yeah, only a 63K score difference, but there goes Poirier again with their miss. So that recovery of Poirier would have been really helpful for Florida to bring this back towards their side. But at the moment now, that 93K score difference is going to be rising, and also actually going to be halted a little bit with that miss from Little Nebula and Celebi, but also traded out with Equivocator here. So now it's just a 1v1 with Firegen and Yoshi Lover. And as we're going to enter into their bridge, we're going to have to wait and see if one of these players from both sides of these teams can hit that bridge, that diff spike with the map, with the density that's just going to be kicked up to 100 here.
Yeah, and this is probably the hardest part of the map coming up here in just a second. Even harder than those star patterns, those triangle patterns that we've seen in the choruses. Here we go into the cuts, into the doubles and triples spam together. Can they hold on? Firegen and Yoshi Lover
Oh, wow.
to the FCs. And this 80k score difference is not moving. Poirier has a tiny bit of a recovery, but it's so late into the map, he can't gain that much more score than the rest of the lobby. And if as long as these two combos keep on holding, I don't know if there's enough time for it to hold back. There goes Florida, a full explosion. Yoshi Lover stands alone into the ending, as it looks like New Jersey are about to walk away with an early break point.
Yeah, I mean, oh well, there goes Yoshi Lover with their miss. Unfortunately, not FCing, but yeah, I actually kind of an understandable pick on Florida's side here with that, very comforting 800k nearing for a Firegen there. I understand now, and also equivocated with that 400k, but kind of a question mark maybe on poor for, but maybe just say nerves kind of thing as well.
Bit of a
But
low roll, I
kind of
would say. Yeah.
matching, yeah, kind of matching Celebi in that score as well. So it's actually kind of unfortunate that New Jersey actually was actually winning out their 1v1s here. Yoshi Lover winning out against Firegen, Little Nebula winning out against Equivocator, and Celebi with Pori 4 there. So yeah, first breakpoint already on this Nomad 3. So despite that hidden 3 ban from New Jersey, they are comfortable in that ult though, but more so on the side of Yoshi Lover, that veteran presence for New Jersey, the reliable.
Yep, just a little bit stronger on the pound for pound. And unfortunately, Florida's third player. I mean, we were thinking we had to keep excuse me, keep an eye on Porfor there. Probably a little bit of a frustrating underperformance from him, as Firegen and Equivocator put up some really strong scores, but it's not enough to pull things over. So the pick will go over to New Jersey now. It's gonna be a quick, easy one, and yeah, what else? I mean, you have Yoshi Lover Kevin. What else to start off with? But taking a moment to talk about the pick strategies of these two teams. The Flex one notably left open, and the first time we've seen Easy DT in this tournament. I wonder if that's a good pick for Yoshi Lover and Kevin. I feel like it should be, but it is definitely a bit of a weird one in terms of some of the control elements, the slowdowns as well. So maybe that just speaks more in favor of the two easy comfort players, or the highly skilled easy players. But then, of course, you do have Vona on the other side. There's a little bit of a question as to who his support is. I mean, this Florida team, you think of it as the Vona team, right? But and because of that, you might think of it, oh, they're going to be really strong at the gimmicks, they're going to be strong at the hiddens, the easies, whatever, right? But it turns out they're the ones to ban out the hidden too. And you look at the rest of the roster: Firegen, Equivocator, Mikey M, Mechanics, Porifor, Alt, Tech, Mechanics, Fesco. He is the reading, the easy support player, but also aim player who can also tap. So it's a lot of mechanics on this Florida roster, and not as much support you would think of from Vona. Now, of course, Firegen is able to fill out the reading and support for Vona, as we do see him in as the third man on this easy one. But yeah, Florida, not exactly what you think of when you first look at when you first think of them.
Yeah, so they did kind of do that. The last time they banned Hidden 2 was against Kentucky, and that was kind of a read on their main reading player over there in Kentucky, so understandably so. Sir Chai Lordy. But you do have a very comparable player in Vona as well there, and you already see like early breaks from Yoshi Lover and Kevin though. Those two main players though, kind of already a little bit concerning, as this map is kind of a little bit short here. Actually, never mind. What am I saying? 3 minutes 31 seconds. So maybe not that detrimental in a grand scheme of things. But also, Yoshi Lover, despite what people would think about him, he doesn't really like playing easy that much. He is kind of forced to just practice the easy there. And
Kevin!
In Kevin, though, with that miss, is just a little bit strange there, actually. Kind of a uncharacteristic misses coming in from your main easy player here. And I would like to come back to Yoshi Lover and say that, after the result of, like, NorCal versus New Jersey last year in finals, Yoshi Lover just didn't want it wasn't comfortable in that easy there. So, but I digress, and Vona and actually Fesco just missing earlier on as this map is approaching the halfway point.
Yeah, so there is the one FC remaining on the side of Florida, and Firegen and Yoshi Lover on a bit of a reverse choke at the moment, but the supporting combos have stabilized for New Jersey, both Kevin and Project Will, at around the 300 mark, so that score lead going to start coming back their way. And I mean, the back half of the map I wouldn't say is too difficult. There's a lot of repeated patterns, but perhaps the long-term comfort from Kevin and Project Will going to be helping them out, as Florida, yes, they practice well. I'm sure Fesco and Vona know this map very well. But, the more time goes on, the more strain you get both mentally and physically on your mechanics, and it's just hard. It just gets harder and harder to keep up. And we are into the back half with the score lead finally flipping over to New Jersey thanks to FireGen breaking earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yoshi Lover did not miss earlier. We did see that miss, but it was probably just Dantro. So yeah, Yoshi Lovers is still holding on to their combo there. Well, fuck me, I guess. Yoshi Lover just missed, and Kevin as well. So 2 misses on one of their big reading players in New Jersey, but also kind of a reset from 2 players instead of side of Florida and traded up with Project Will. So now it's just Fesco trying to hold on for their team here, especially when there's no combo whatsoever on the side of New Jersey. Still got to hold on much more longer here for the side of Florida to get this breakpoint of their own. And nothing can really stop Fesco at the moment here unless you see more recoveries coming in.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot of time. They need Fesco to break. There's already just a quarter of the map remaining, and dropping that recovery from Project Will is not going to help matters. Florida having their own 2 recoveries to match that of Kevin and Yoshi Lover at the moment, and it just looks like Fesco should be able to walk this one home, although this ending section, it is still quite tricky, you know, with the reverse sliders into the other 2 sliders, but it does look like he is out of the thick of things. And no, it's at the end of the burst! I mean, 35,000 score. I don't think there's enough time to pull it back, and yeah, despite Vona breaking, FireGen holding on, 500 combo, that's going to be enough to stave off Kevin and Yoshi Lover's recoveries, but
oh my.
I mean, that score lead did get quite close at the end. 18,000 from 35,000, cut in half.
Yeah, so in reality, that's like a kind of a 36K score difference right there. You have like a 2x multiplier, so it was still kind of close though. So, but still, back-to-back breakpoints here, trading out each other's picks, and them winning it out at the end. And interestingly enough, none of these scores over 300K from any of these reading players, especially from Kevin and Yoshil over here, and also Vona too. So Vona being the surprising one to underperform, but also maybe just a nerve thing or the pressure to get to them to be expected to perform well. But yeah, it's just gonna be back to it's just like tied up here. Interestingly enough, and Florida back to their own pick.
Breakpoint traded for breakpoint, and we'll have to see how Florida decides to continue. I mean, the Nomad 3 was incredibly close. I wouldn't be surprised if they just decide to keep on going down the alt picks, although Hidden 3 banned out, and Hardrock 3, I mean, being in the Hardrock pool, not sure how comfortable they'll be with that one, although given that Vona was not in for the Nomad 3, I think the other 3 will be just fine, or for Equivocator and FireGen. I think they'll be quite okay with playing the alt map on the Hardrock if they want to double down on that skill set choice. Of course, we could see them go somewhere else, although it's a bit difficult to pick tapping into the duo of Celebi and Little Nebula. So instead, it's just going to be some aim to start to find the first pivot of the match as Florida try to find their positioning in this pool.
I mean, in terms of tapping, I mean, Florida has been playing the tapping maps, especially in the semifinals. Respectable 2.7 million team score. Oh no, sorry, 2.8 million on DT2, and 2.4 million versus 2.8 on against Florida and New Jersey, respectively. So it's gonna be, I think, one of those gamble kind of picks for both of these teams to pick into tapping, especially with Florida kind of leaning more into that mechanics end. And also New Jersey kind of in equal terms between that gimmick and mechanics. So we'll have to wait and see on if that tapping picks will be coming to fruition. But on this hidden one though, maybe a sign of leaning into the mechanics once again here.
Yep, gonna be some mixed aim on. It sounds like it's 1/3, but it's not 1/3. This is 3/4 time signature, 3/4 time signature, so 3 beats per measure, which is different from 1/3 snaps. Study on your music theory, please, those 2 players and music theory. I do have a bit of a pet peeve when it comes to people saying thirds and triples versus triplets or whatnot, whatever the correct musical term is, because they sound so close and similar. The words are incredibly similar, but they just mean totally different things.
Yeah,
I could go on, I could rant about this longer, but I do digress. The BPM is what it says. You are not being lied to. That is just 224 BPM. Jumps, both awkward and sharp angle. And we're getting right into things. Vona coming in for the hidden mechanics, this time accompanied by Porfort and Firegen. Against, of course, Yoshi Lover and Kevin on hidden. It's going to be Little Nebula to close them out. Interesting, no Project Will on this one. I do know he does have quite good mechanics when it comes to the hidden mod, but maybe just not feeling some of the parts of this map, although that is a little bit concerning. This map should be quite comfortable.
Yeah, my eyebrows were a bit raised when I saw Kevin on aim here, so that's kind of interesting to see from New Jersey here, but maybe just a comfort thing as well, especially with the kind of map that this is, you know, kind of a mix of like comfort aim in there, like that #1 typical aim that you would see in this hidden one, so kind of maybe understandable to come in, but you know, that early miss, nothing to really worry about just yet. 4 minutes long here, but it's just going to be against the mechanics core of Florida here, with especially Vona just helping them out here on this hidden one. Is on as we're in this first Ki. Firegen did just miss here, and still we do see more holds coming in from the side of New Jersey, and also for missing also on the side of Florida. So now it's just an early advantage to the side of New Jersey here.
Yep, 2 FCs to the lone FC of Vona, and Kevin even having the recovery at the moment. Taking a quick check-in on the accuracies. Porfor also down there at 94, bottom of the lobby. Everyone else holding very nicely. Yoshi Lover even up at 99. And Kevin about to cross back over to 98. So everyone but 4-4 up at 98 or above. Going to further be adding towards the score difference that New Jersey is building for themselves. Of course, the combo is the name of the game at the moment, not just the accuracy, which is something to keep in the back of our heads, as Florida do stand a little bit worse off on all fronts at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, even if like all of New Jersey miss and there's like a 200k score difference, that's still kind of comebackable, but that's all on reliant upon your Florida players to hold on to their recoveries. And unfortunately, Firegen missing right before the second Ki here, so Yoshi Lover, Little Nebula is still holding on strong, and Porfor just not having a good time, kind of a repeat
Bancho?
of what they displayed. Is that a Bancho from where?
I want to think that's a Bancho, but Yoshi Lover's miss looks real.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't imagine him missing, like, chain missing that many jumps in a row. It just seems incredibly strange. But for now, I think that Yoshi Lover miss is real, and we'll have to wait a little. Okay, so now that for sure is going to be a real Mr. Porfor. And now Vona in the lone FC standing for Florida up against Little Nebula and Kevin on the reverse choke. At the moment, it is not looking good with a 300,000 score lead into the back third of the map.
Yeah, I mean, this is still doable if both Little Nebula and Kevin miss it right now, because there's still 300k score left for Vona to achieve, especially with the recoveries that Firegen can bring. But unfortunately, well, there goes that miss from Vona there. So yeah,
unfortunately, nothing.
Yeah, Little Nebula just displaying his mechanics prowess, especially on the aim department, kind of being an over-reliable aim player there for the side of 5WC USA A team there, kind of a core player in that aim mechanics department here. So, you know, 420k score difference, nothing that Florida can really do here. And another break point is underway.
Yep, they will comfortably take this one, and I mean, you know, the hidden 1, the hidden 2, hidden 3 both banned out, so it's not like New Jersey can glean too much information off of this break point. Maybe they're a little bit more comfortable in picking into the other aim maps in the pool, as there are quite a bit of them. You know, a lot of the maps featuring high BPM aim. No on 1 banned out, hidden 2 also banned out, hidden 1 just being played. I mean, thinking about the Hard Rock 2, the Force Mod 1 are both above 200 effective BPM kind of aim maps. So
yeah.
But at the same time, this does have the big asterisk of being in the hidden pool. So it's sort of difficult to try and take too much away from this victory.
Yeah.
Despite it being such a significant one.
Really good stuff from Little Nebula with that FC there. We didn't want to say anything to curse them, but also 727K score difference because of that FC, and also because of Kevin getting that big score as well, and also Yoshi Liver falling behind there. So Kevin really recovering more for their team here to win this out. Just hitting one here. So it seems like New Jersey kind of winning it out in terms of the mechanics side things with that Noma 3 and hitter 1 win. So we're not winning each other's points here. So now it's time for New Jersey to maybe further their lead with their next pick here. But with how the match has been going so far, maybe another breakpoint could be in the horizon.
Yeah, and with those 2 wins on the mechanics picks, we could just see New Jersey try and take over the mechanics. But again, you know, Hidden One does have the asterisk of that hidden mod. We could look to see a Force mod one, however, to try and further sort of feel out how Florida are feeling on the aim. Instead, it's just going to be a flex one as they go for the other easy map in the pool.
Yeah, so you mentioned that it's kind of interesting pick for like the likes of Yoshi Liver and Kevin, and I do kind of understand it because there is like that kind of tapping heavy aspect in the middle, even though it is 153 BPM. But you know, as long as it isn't that much flow, like Kevin can play it, and I think also Yoshi Liver can kind of do well on this BPM as well, which is evident with them picking it themselves here. But yeah, kind of a flow oriented flex mod here. Easy DT, kind of a relief esque map, but more on that flow end here.
Yeah, some awkward wiggles. Not too many, not back and forths per se. Just some wiggles and yeah, relief-esque with some of the gritty old style mapping. As it looks like the ref is not putting on the correct map. Hopefully that'll be there in just a second. Easy DTing the hidden one. Imagine that one. I mean, maybe you don't want to be imagining that one as a non-easy player.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Take me out. A little bit of a classic rock song.
Rock song here, but kind of the old style presence in this flow kind of map, and a very much different kind of easy map as well. So not really that, you know, like lowest like AR that Easy would provide. I think it was like AR7 if I recall correctly, with Easy DT here.
Easy DT somewhere around AR7 usually.
But I guess it's just New Jersey picking Easy once again, kind of thinking that Easy one was just like an unlucky kind of factor. I mean, obviously we did see that because of that, you know, 250k scores that Yoshi Liver and Kevin had displayed. So maybe it is kind of the underperformance factor. Maybe like a nerves thing as well, the early nerves that comes in. So maybe a better result could come out here from New Jersey, but already a first break from Project Well.
Yeah, we do have some interesting roster changes here. Equivocator and FireGen into accompanying Vona, as just as I call their names out, FireGen and Vona going to be breaking on some of those stacked back and forth. But here we go into the triples, and a bit of a slowdown as well here. Going to be catching Project Will, but now we finally get into the meat of the map and meat and potatoes of the map. It's going to be Kevin breaking on this little slower section as well. So now it's just Yoshi Lover holding on. But yeah, here we go into the flow section. The relief-esque patterns, as you can already see on your screen. Some of these overlaps are very difficult to read, tell which order, in which order the notes have appeared. And it's already catching a lot of Florida out, and very quickly, New Jersey off to a quite hefty lead, thanks to the work of Yoshi Lover.
Yeah, I mean, like, this map is, like, deceptively hard, even though you think, like, oh, it's just flow, kind of simple flow. There's a little bit of required aim control that is needed, especially you think that it's big CS, it's easy to aim, but no, these are, like, pretty spread out here, and it's just a lot of consistent misses coming in outside of Florida here. But also, Yoshi Lover giving up their own FCs there, so Kevin with their own recoveries coming in. 140k score difference is actually pretty massive here in the context of Easy. So, and already really past the halfway point, and no real like recoveries to comment about except like Ivona, but you know, you need more than that to really bring this back here.
Yeah, this is already about 300,000 score in the favor of New Jersey if you take away that easy multiplier. And just about a quarter of the map left. I mean, Project will drop his recovery. But this is so much score that Florida has to pull back, and Equivocator going to be trading out a little bit delayed. Kevin's still matching Vona's big combo, and yeah, with Firegen dropping, that should just be about it for this one. So New Jersey calling the easy one a little bit of a fluke and doubling down on the easy DT, finding success, and they're going to be consolidating the break point they just took from Florida.
Yep, 3-1 for New Jersey. So now Florida have to answer back with their own pick and maybe another break point of their own to get it tied up there. It's just a little bit of a ladder to climb, but not a big ladder just yet. Almost 1 million team score from the side of New Jersey there. 400k reach from Kevin, so all around hovering on 200k for the side of Florida here from all three players. So a bit of a more of a comfier pick for New Jersey, especially if you're more comfortable aiming the easy aspects here. So yeah, Florida having to answer something back here. Not sure if they'll lead into the mechanics again, especially with that loss of the hidden one. So I'm not sure what will be the pick.
Yeah, looking at the players, we could see them try and dip into the tapping and sort of get that figured out. The hidden one was quite a big loss, so I don't know if they want to go into more aim picks. Of course, we could also just see them double down on the ult from earlier. Very close loss on the Nomad 3. And we could see them go for the Hard Rock 3 instead. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of different directions they can go, and it's actually pretty hard to read it because it's also pretty tough. It's a pretty tough decision because there's no real one clear correct answer between these, and it does look like they'll opt for the Hard Rock 3, doubling down on the ult. But I mean they picked the last remaining alt map in the pool effectively, and then they're sort of just pushing the issue or delaying the issue until their next pick, sort of procrastinating on the decision of where they want to go with their late match strategy.
Yeah, I mean, this one in the Hard Rock department requires so much more consistency than you expect because of that Hard Rock modification with the high CS and high AR. Well, it's AR10, but yeah, you know, I'll snap out once again here. Oh, we're seeing someone downloading maps.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting though because of them losing out that Nomad 3 for them to pick ult once again. I mean, there was that comfort that Firegen showed that was almost competing with Yoshi Lover with their own combos as well. So maybe it could be that factor in as well. But it is kind of concerning as well as they have consistently banned the Hard Rocks out throughout the tournament, except for I think against Kentucky, if I recall correctly. But yeah, just Hard Rocks has been consistently banned from Florida here, so we'll have to see.
Interesting to see here. Vona in for the Hard Rock, no Equivocator. We were kind of expecting to see Vona in for the Nomad 3 earlier. This map a little bit less spiky and also does have a little bit more straightforward, just almost aim slop sections, you could call them. I mean, obviously the patterning isn't quite aim slop, but it is just sort of some high BPM jump aim in certain parts. So it does make sense to see Vona in for this one, as he has been training some of those high BPM aim skills on the aim slop. Looking at the rest of the lobby, it's going to be Nebula Celebi again. This time rounded out by Merc. Merc, very strong Nomad 3 player. And also parts of the New Jersey Mechanics roster.
Yeah, so finally seeing Merck in on this match here. Merck consistently has been, doing well in their trials. So kind of that, feel player for the Center New Jersey here, and doing servicing well here so far in his Hard Rock 3, and we already see like 3 breaks earlier from Florida, and especially the earliest one or the latest one being from 44. Bona still with their recoveries, but once again, this is a Hard Rock thing here, especially with the 150k score difference already early on in this match here, and that act just really matters much more, especially with that 98 and 97 that Celebi and Little Nebula is displaying here.
Yeah, and I mean, compared to that, when you're down at 90%, even if you do have like something like a 400 combo advantage on the other guy, on the other person, uh, when your AC is that low, sometimes it will just be made up for it in whole.
Yeah.
And taking a look at scores here in the break, Little Nebula and Selby still holding on Merc, missing right before it. But yeah, there's 2 FCs for New Jersey doing a lot of work at the moment as Firejet and Pour4, a decent AC, but not on FCs, and it's going to be giving New Jersey a bit of an advantage here, but Selby and Merc finding their own misses, trading back, and there goes the Little Nebula. So there's a big window of opportunity as Florida have 3 hefty recovery combos to pull back this lead.
Yeah, so a little bit of under aim and a starter break situation from Little Nebula and Celebi respectively. As we get into the second PI, they're still not stopping here for the Florida. That score lead did just switch over here as they did overcome that second KI. We're already way past that midpoint. You now see the scores that Florida has displayed here. You do see now Celebi is regretting that miss here. Little Nebula maybe kind of also. So still 49k score difference. It's going to rapidly rise though because of all 3 recoveries here.
Yeah, I mean, you have 1 recovery, it maybe slowly start to chip away and they need to hold on for a while, but when you have 3 recoveries against nothing like you have here, this score lead just goes over so quickly, and it's already more than 200,000 score in the favor of Florida. I think even if they triple broke here, there's just not enough big combos on the side of New Jersey to pull things back. Yeah, Florida successfully doubling down. It's only Vona to miss on the fast aim section there, as Pour4 going to be following up right after, but Firejet holding on into the ending, and the score lead is almost 400,000. This is a shut and close case, as Florida tripping up on the Nomad 3 ult earlier, but when it comes to the Hard Rock 3 ult, going to be feeling a little bit better about themselves, quite a bit better. In fact, as that is 700k individual score for 5Gen, and another point on the board for Florida. Unfortunately, he will break right at the end on the last pattern, but that is more than enough work put in for a nice point.
Yeah, so if this was like an act tourney, New Jersey would win it out easily. But right now, this is all about the combo and act together, and
I
Florida
mean,
winning it out here.
you
On
say
that,
Ack, Merc down at 91%, Villian.
yeah, but there is that 90 as well. So I say New Jersey as a whole will win it if it's an act tourney. But yeah, scores very nicely done here for the set of Farajan. Also the one to repeat, kind of the same performance that Nomad 3 was displayed there. Kind of unfortunate for Celebi and Little Nebula to miss right in the middle of the map there to cap out their score, but also Pour4 to kind of have their own redemption for what they displayed on number 3 and hit and won. So, kind of a pat on their back there, get that confidence boost up, especially when you're down by 1 point now.
Yep, so they do secure their own point, but still need to make up the breakpoint difference. We'll see if they get an early opportunity here. If New Jersey go for one of the closer maps in the pool, but actually, I think they will just quickly get an opportunity, as all of these maps are looking quite close. It's going to be DT3 the pick, so some 270 BPM speed mechanics.
Yeah, so the DT3 from the side of New Jersey, I think it is understandable. I think it's the right time to pick tapping here. If you want to get yourself really comfortable in that 20 environment and have like the right amount of I guess warmth that your hand has, getting that hands warm up in the 20 here. Little Nebula and Celebi, kind of the expected people to be in here, maybe even Kevin as well as their third. But Florida could also be very competitive on this as well.
Going to be looking at Mikey M, their tapping specialist, to put up a score. But 270, this is pretty high BPM. We didn't see anything this high last year in 5USC. The highest BPM map we had, I believe, was around 263 on the grand finals, DT2. The more and more jump map. But yeah, not touching 270, and here it is in final stage. So gonna be a bit of a speed cap check even for the tapping players. You know, not every tapping player is good at every aspect of tapping. Some of them are better at the flow aim streams, the no mod 2s. Some of them are better at the finger control or the 220 to 230 stamina maps, and then some are better at the raw speed, just pushing higher and higher BPMs on some, you know, 9-note bursts or so.
Yeah.
Up to the 270 to 300 range. Every speed player, every tapping player has their own little skill set within the broader skill set of tapping, and it's going to be a bit of a test or a check for Florida, as I think New Jersey should be quite comfortable on this BPM. Little Nebula putting up one of the best scores of last weekend's DT3. That was Rubik's Cube, 261 BPM. A little bit more straining in terms of how many bursts there were back to back. This one a little bit less dense in terms of the burst count. But of course, a little bit higher BPM to compensate for that. We are into the map. Accompanying Little Nebula and Selby will be Kevin, so seeing some more Kevin speed, and of course, next to Mikey, and we do see Equivocator and Fesco to back him up.
Yeah, so, you know, it's kind of expected for Kevin to be here, them improving their speed throughout the time. Throughout this year, actually, even especially last year as well. I already early miss from Equivocator, so this map actually kind of requires a little bit of that finger control as well, with that aim, that little aim requirements that is needed there, and also the burst here as well, that requirement to finish out the burst, and that, you know, tendency to not really finish out the burst, to be really nervous. And we do kind of see that from Celebi, but still kind of tied up here between these two teams. I mean, in terms of act though, it's looking real comparable, but actually, never mind, more so in the favor of New Jersey with a 98 and 97 from Little Nebula and Celebi, respectively.
So already seeing a little bit of a difference in the raw BPM comfort. Little Nebula doing so well for himself at the moment. And there goes Mikey M, the tapping specialist of Florida. A little bit of a miss-aim as we go into the second Ki. We'll see if these players managed to trip up again on the burst. There goes Randy Orton as well, but there's a double break from Selby and Little Nebula. The two big accuracy players lose their combos. Mikey M will trade, and there goes Fesco. Actually, at the end of the day, as after it's all said and done, it's just Kevin standing alone with a 95 FC.
Yeah, who would have thought that Kevin would be the one to be the lone standing FC for this matchup here? The one that the main reading player that you would expect to be in for the reading and other kind of gimmicky slots here, now in for the mechanics of this 270 BPM DT3, and just getting them this score lead that they need to win at this point here. My days.
Thinking back, Valine, to 1 year ago, Kevin gets his rapid trigger keyboard, busts it out in finals on Solar Strike plus easy. And what a score he put up back then. Looking to put up some similar fireworks once again in this same final stage of 5USC here on another speed map. This time it's 270, 10 BPM higher, and once again closing out. I mean, we'll hold our breath for a second here. But there it is, closes out the FC. My goodness.
Kind of the perfect kind of recipe for Kevin to be able to do this well. And, you know, with that AR kind of being kind of approachable, and also the OG as well, 9.4, allow, you know, some leniency in your tapping here if you're not really comfortable here. But yeah, that was quite the impressive FC coming in from Kevin here, kind of the unexpected player to even bring out that FC. We kind of expected from the likes of Little Nebula and Celebi, but man, impressive stuff for the side of New Jersey's reading player.
Yep, and there is the 4th point on the board for New Jersey, as Florida not able to steal back the break point quite yet. Of course, they will have a couple more opportunities. assuming they keep winning their own points, of course. Score lead, excuse me, the score difference reading 4-2 in favor of New Jersey at the moment, but that is just one break point, and Florida, it will be their own pick next, so I have to wait a little longer before they can tie things up. Gonna go into the Hard Rock 1.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, I guess they won the Hard Rock 3. They're saying, okay, we win on the Hard Rock gimmick. Let's pick the other Hard Rock gimmick. Of course, this one being Mech Tech, but also notably a lot shorter. And Florida, is it just me, or have they been missing quite a bit in the early stages of the map? I feel like New Jersey have sort of held on to those early combos quite well until around the halfway mark of the map or so, and then we see some breaks come in, and like we even saw on the Hard Rock 3, that was what was happening with Selby and Little Nebula, but then it was a full collapse from New Jersey as Florida took it in the back half. A little bit closer throughout regarding the Nomad 3, but the DT3 now as well. Florida finding some early misses. And I mean, in a map that is 1 minute and 49 seconds long, you really don't want to find those early misses. Those early misses matter so much more.
Yeah.
You need to be so squeaky clean.
Yeah, like a perfect example of that was yesterday's match of New Jersey B versus New York B, in that Hard Rock 2, and it was just they just kept on missing in the second half of the map, but it was just New York that kept on holding much more earlier. But so and as a result, New York just won that point solely based off of that early combo gains. And so yeah, I agree with you. Like with this short of a map, you would need to really hold out just a little bit longer there just to get that score difference toward your side, especially for Florida as they're down by 2 points here.
Yeah, not... I mean, if we are going to be framing Florida as the Amy mechanics team, then I suppose this sort of map does make quite a bit of sense. There's a good bit of aim, and also, I mean, yes, there are those couple of funny looking bursts in this map, especially in the first half, and catching out some players, but yeah, for the most part, pretty heavy on the aim mechanics, and it's also only 190. It's very manageable flow aim. If anything, it is more on mechanics rather than, or general mechanics rather than tapping. But here we go into the map already. It's gonna be Little Nebula and Selby, the Hard Rock duo for New Jersey, and Yoshi Lover closing out the 3-man roster. Other side, 4-4, Mikey M and Vona 8 Sandwich to try and put up a third on the board for Florida.
Yeah. Already an early interesting miss from the side of Celebi. I think, I don't know if it was over-aiming or under-aiming the flow part, but just them getting the lower ag right away because of that. But still recoverable because of the short map. We already see 2 misses coming in right away from Mikey M and Vona 8, and already halfway towards the map here. So as more of that combo is gained from Little Nebula and Yoshi Lover, that combo and that score lead will exceedingly go to their side here, unless we do see some kind of mishaps.
Here we are into the break, the first break, and that's actually does come at right around halfway through the map, but I mean, Yoshi Lover and Little Nebula just keep on holding a little bit longer, and this score lead will quickly become insurmountable as Vona and Mikey M finding some misses at some really unfortunate points. Although there goes Yoshi Lover, gonna be traded out by Par 4. So Little Nebula still holding on. Mikey M dropping the recovery as well on a bit of a slider break, and I think Little Nebula has done just about enough. The score lead is already 250,000 score in their favor. So large in such a short map. And yeah, this map is already over.
It's already over. Like, even though you won that Hard Rock 3, you cannot deny the consistency that Little Nebula has shown in this Hard Rock. Even despite them missing in the middle of the map, they did FC into the middle of the map of that Hard Rock 3. Just a little bit of the nerves that got to them that under-aimed in one of the alt sections. And also them single tapping that Hard Rock 3 as well. But I digress on that part. But yeah, the Little Nebula, impressive stuff here. I think an FC actually from them on this Hard Rock 1 here on this Mech Tech map. And to them get a 5-2 lead now, just a 3-point deficit.
Yep, looking a little grim for Florida, especially as the pick does go over to New Jersey. Now that breakpoint deficit has increased from 1 to now 2. Florida have double the work put out ahead of themselves if they want to take this back. And I got some bad news for Florida. There's a few more tapping maps in this pool. There's a little bit more where that DT3 came from. Of course, quite a bit lower BPM looking at the DT2 and the Nomad 2. And some might even argue that the Nomad 5 is a bit of a speed map as well. But New Jersey just going directly into the DT2, and they only need 2 more picks in order to close this out. You only need 2 more points, and there's 2 maps sitting right up their alley at the moment, the DT2 and the Nomad 2. If the stamina tapping goes just as well for them as the raw speed, this match might already be done.
Yeah, whatever the outcome is for this DT2 will result on what kind of pick they'll have next here. So it's up to Florida to really respond well enough for them to maybe get a potential breakpoint of their own. They did have decent acts on that DT3 though. You know, they have shown that they can play that speed there, but can they really show up now for this stamina here with this 228 BPM? The length of this map is a little shorter than that DT3, but still that stamina is undeniable. And right now, you know, we have players like Celebi and Little Nebula that can play that stamina very comfortably, even though Celebi is kind of underperforming throughout this match right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw what happens when you put on a shorter map. You usually are able to hold on to the early combos. Meanwhile, Florida taking a little bit longer to adjust. And yes, while DT2 or Nomad 2, excuse me, which is hanging in the wings after this map for New Jersey to pick, is a little bit longer, a little over 4 minutes. Or just around 4 minutes. It does have some potential for Florida to pull things back in the back half. It only gets harder as the map goes on, and so it's going to be more difficult to make a comeback happen there if Florida finds some early misses. So to me, the way I see it, this DT2 is just do or die for Florida. You have to show some strength on the stamina tapping now, or New Jersey will take this point and pick the Nomad 2, and it's going to be the exact same story.
Yeah, I mean, the OD is a little higher here, and the BPM will be a little bit higher than a Nomad 2, so maybe Florida could have a little bit of an easier time on that Nomad 2, but it will be kind of a no-brainer for New Jersey to pick a Nomad 2 if they win this DT2 out. But yeah, Florida got a lot of work to do. We'll have to wait and see on how they will fare here.
Do have the players in the lobby, Mikey M, Equivocator, and Fesco is your trio for Florida here, up against the same trio of Lil Nebula, Celebi, and Keffin. Some 6-note finger control patterns to start things off, and then stamina will pick up a little bit as the map goes on, and then rounding out with a little bit of finger control, but at that point the map is basically over, no combo left. Speaking of the map basically being over, we're not quite there yet, but this map is quite short, 1 minute 53 seconds, and so we're already around a third of the way through. Taking a look at the accuracies, that is what is giving Florida, or excuse me, New Jersey a little bit of an advantage here. As Little Nebula up at 97%, once again showing such incredible proficiency on these tapping maps as he's basically SSing the entire long streams of the first half. My goodness.
Yeah, Fesco unfortunately over-aiming on that last stream there, so maybe just a bit too focused on the tapping there and not really focused on their aim. So already quite unfortunate for them to miss for the side of Florida, but also what can Florida really do with this accurate advantage that they the disadvantage that they have over here against New Jersey. New Jersey is still holding strong, especially with Little Nebula holding strong with their 97 here, and also Mikey M missing once again. So it's just 3 versus 1 FC here as this match is approaching its end. But we do see the 2 misses of Kevin and Little Nebula, but it's still already 300k score difference. Celebi still holding on. Nothing that Florida can do, and nothing that Florida can really stop New Jersey from reaching match point here.
Yep. Into the very last stream of the map, Celebi will hold, and we do have some finger control, aimey stuff to close things out. But yeah, that map is over Equivocator. Congratulations on closing out your FC. But, I mean, needing a little bit of help in closing out the rest of the score difference. Unable to do that alone. That is more than one man's work, as New Jersey pull themselves up to match point 6-2. And oh boy, do they have a second punch waiting to strike.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they won't pick in a Nova 2. They will have to pick something else. Maybe another of the one slots in the Force Mode 1 still open there for them. But with them losing that Hard Rock 1 as well is still a little scary, even though you can argue that Force Mode 1 could be a little bit more RNG with the slider snap patterns that they have. But yeah, it's just Florida maybe leaning into that mechanics once again here, just maybe looking at the sheet, and indeed they are going to pick into that Force Mode 1.
Yeah, to me this definitely makes the most sense out of the remaining... I mean, I was about to say it makes the most sense out of the remaining ones and give a clever reason for it, but then I look at what's been picked and banned so far, and I think it's the only remaining one at this point. No Hard 1 banned, Hidden 1 picked, Easy 1 picked, Hard Rock 1 picked. I mean, yes, the DT 1 is up. But I don't think that's where they would want to go. A little bit too honest and straightforward, and also once again in the higher BPM range.
Yeah,
they have been finding some struggles.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with Little Nebula and Selby in that team, DT1 is kind of a scary pick as well, with that mechanics consistency that New Jersey has displayed here. So at the moment, Florida, they have time to practice a little bit here. But I would expect maybe like Vona being obviously the hidden. I'm not sure who will be in that Hard Rock. I maybe could expect like 2 hidden, 1 Hard Rock here on the side of Florida. And New Jersey, I'm not sure actually. They have a lot of players that can play this map here.
Yeah, I mean, we do see Project Will in the lobby at the moment. I would be a little bit surprised to see him over someone like Yoshi Lover or Keffin. And then it's probably just Selby, or I guess it's Lil Nebula in for the Hard Rock, as he has been performing quite well this match. But I did want to say earlier, this map does feel like just a pretty good pick for Florida. They found the success on the Hard Rock 3. The Hard Rock 1 not as good, but just thinking about the kind of team that they are. Just a little bit of non-standard mechanics. There are quite a bit of slider jumps. Some tough-to-read slider jumps, I might add, as they are quite overlapping and dense, even despite the AR-10. And we're actually going to be seeing Porofor here in for the Force Mod. He does have a hidden Hard Rock preference, and I do think that actually works out quite well for him on this map due to the density that would be there if you were to play normal Hard Rock. So hidden Hard Rock might actually be better than normal Hard Rock on this map, and we do see him pick up that preference mod.
Yeah, so achieving the Hard Rock requirements here for the side of Florida, allowing FireGen and Vona to take on that hitting here, just to kind of guarantee a high score. Not guaranteed FC, but certainly, hopefully, enough score to compete against New Jersey here. An important pick for the Florida to win, but kind of an inevitable downfall if that Noma 2 will inevitably get picked here. Already seeing 2 misses from the side of Port4 and FireGen traded out with Yoshi Lover, but also unfortunately Vona with the last kind of miss there for Florida here. It's still early on, still nothing to really worry about just yet, but an early advantage here for New Jersey.
Yeah, Yoshi Lover trading out again, but this is the same story we've seen all match, Feline. Florida just finding some early misses, and I mean, it did cost them on the shorter maps. We'll see if it costs them on this longer map. We did see them make that comeback on the Hard Rock 3, but not sure. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to do it here as well, and also that will require Little Nebula and Selby to find some more struggles around the halfway point. There are quite a bit of breaks in this map as well, so maybe that can add to some building nerves on the side of New Jersey. But of course, the same can also be said for the side of Florida's. Vona and FireGen feel the pressure to hold on to their recoveries lest things just slip too far out of reach.
Yeah, I mean, this is the main key that I think a lot of people can break in here. So if Florida wants this chance, you wouldn't want to see that break from Little Nebula and Celebi. There goes that Celebi miss, but also that Fire Gen miss though. So you still actually want that Fire Gen hold to really come through to be able to get this back. But 125 score difference as Little Nebula is still holding on versus that 500 recovery that Bona is showing here.
Yeah, and still holding on through the Ki. Little Nebula on the FC 5WC A team versus 5WC C team. Little Nebula versus Vona, but the scores still inching in favor of New Jersey here. Firegen and Yoshi Lover do have a couple of small recoveries that could eventually come into play, but we're still waiting on this map to progress. More time to proceed. Yoshi Lover dropping his recovery, so that's going to stem the bleeding a little bit, but Little Nebula, especially with that hard up multiplier, as opposed to Vona's hidden multiplier, going to be keeping the score lead in New Jersey's favor and continuing to progress so.
Yeah, I mean, Fargen does have better recoveries than Celebi, but that combo that Little Nebula has is undeniable. I mean, Florida, 160k score difference. It is still kind of fragile here with these two holds from both of these teams here. So it's just going to be a matter of who will hold throughout this first Kia. That's a very important miss right now, but it's also very important for Vona to keep on holding and also Firegen to get the score difference towards their side as this map is approaching its end. And when that ending doesn't really have that much of a combo density, will there be enough of that notes to come through here?
30,000 is the score. I mean, there's not a lot of combo, but not a lot of notes, and that is the main issue, but I think they managed to do it. The score lead has flipped, and that is 30,000, 40,000. The script has flipped on this map. Florida managed to do it again. New Jersey finding too many breaks in the back half, and it is Florida to pull things back on the consistency. And Florida finding a third point on the board. 800k from Vona.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff. And also kind of a repeat of what they did in the Hard Rock 3, just holding on long enough for the misses to come through from New Jersey to get that win. But this is quite the impressive stuff, but I probably delaying the inevitable here of New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it must be said, there's but one map for New Jersey to pick in this scenario. Anything else, we would be wondering what is going on in their camp, and I think we should see that map shortly. What am I talking about? Of course, it would be nothing but the No Mod 2. As we do await the pick from New Jersey. So I'll be crashing out a little bit in the chat, finding some content.
Yeah.
But I think we are really just waiting for those three characters to be typed out and the enter button to be pressed. As what else could you be picking? You won the DT3, you won the DT2, both of them quite comfortably at that. And there's one tapping map left in the pool. There it is. Little Nebula, no modification to Blue Zenith 727.
Oh boy. This is a map that requires so much more consistency than what DT3 and DT2 has provided. I mean, a close second is DT3 because of that length alone, and also that high BPM. But this one is just tapping straight up, 200 BPM Dynamo kind of style here, and yeah, it's just hard to see what Florida will have to offer this, especially with what the act they've shown. But I guess with the OD being this kind of forgiving here, OD 9.2, and also the BPM being this low, maybe they can have a chance here, but that consistency is undeniable for New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just expecting Little Nebula to put up something north of 99% in the act department, and likely the same for Celebi. I mean, she has been struggling a little bit so far this match, but being back on her main skill set on the 200 BPM, I mean, I don't even know if I want to call these streams. They do get a little bit spaced in the back half. And the flow aim does become a little bit less straightforward, but it's still well within the realm of what you'll see on farm maps, and should be quite comfortable to do her work on this map.
So, an interesting roster swap, actually. You're not going to see Little Nebula and Kevin. I mean, Kevin, understandably so, because of the flow, but Little Nebula also here, not in, whereas Noma 2. I think kind of a similar case in Kevin as well, with that not be able to do that flow well. So, Project Will and Merrick kind of filling in to help out Celebi here in this Noma 2. So, maybe this could change things a little bit. As you kind of expect, with Kevin and Little Nebula, they do have that great consistency here. But, with Project Will and Merc, they haven't really been showing up much in this match. And, kind of being pressured to win at this point here, especially with what they've seen in DT3 and DT2, can maybe kind of affect them a little bit, but hard to say.
Yeah. And especially with Little Nebula showing such great consistency. Like, yes, he was one of the 2 players to trip up on the Hard Rock 3, but just now on the Force Mod 1, holding combo for so long. 700,000 was his score on the Hard Rock. And even on... I mean, I guess there was a little bit of a... Was there a trip up on the DT2 earlier? I mean, there was a trip up on the DT3. It was actually Kevin to hold the Seoul FC. So... You'd be a little bit worried about the consistency on the tapping, but looked pretty good on the other maps. FCing the Hard Rock 1 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know if Florida do somehow manage to take this break point, then things will suddenly get incredibly interesting. But for now, we do have some 727 streams to keep our eyes on, as Florida currently on a 3-way FC. Merc finding just a little bit of an early break, and of course taking a look at those accuracies. Project Will actually at 99%, Selby at 97, and Merc at 98. On the other side, it's Mikey M to match Project Will. Firegen down at 96, the lowest in the lobby, but Equivocator at 98. Going to keep things relatively close, especially with Merc's earlier miss.
Yeah, so it's just going to be kind of chill throughout this time. Maybe there can be some unlucky misses here and there. We'll have to wait and see. But it's just that main Kia and that halfway point that would really be the effective, test that all these 6 players will have to go through if they want to be able to get that high score towards them, and also to get that point here. But right now, still in favor of Florida with that 3-way.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. The map does only pick up as it goes on. The aim not catching out anyone, but here we are back into the action. More 9 to 16 note, 200 BPM stream bursts, as Florida still holding on to the 3-way. The accuracy has gone in their favor, I believe, as Project Will dropping down to 97, Merc at 96, 97, and Selby still at the 97. Equivocator and Mikey M still holding on to their 98s, and the lead is in their favor, but still... There's still another 2 minutes to go, Valine. 2 more minutes of this, and the spacing only gets bigger. The streams only get longer. There's still that 64-note stream to come, I believe, as well. Yet to make an appearance, and here we go into the bigger spacing, the curves. The curvature does get a little bit more intense. Big chain miss from Equivocator. That is going to be traded right back by Merc, actually. But there goes Firegen as well. Project Wolf also falls, and all of a sudden it's just chaos. Mikey, M, and Cell with the only 2 FCs remaining.
Yeah, Firegen over aiming, Project Will missing on aim, so now it's just a 1v1 between these 2. This score lead is you can cut it with a knife's edge here. Really fragile right now because of these 2 FCs, man. Whoever missed would be the deciding factor of this matchup here. 59 score difference because of that earlier Merc miss. It's going to keep on rising, though, especially with that act lead that they kind of have here on the side of Florida, actually kind of equaling between these 2 teams now. But yeah, it's just going to be hard now. Now all our pressure is just all going to be in Celebi and Mikey, and they don't know that both of them are FCing now. It's just all, they just know that they have to hold on to maybe potentially winning out for both of these teams here as the bridge of this song is approaching and as the hardest part of the song is approaching here.
I mean, hold on, there goes a recovery from Firegen. That's not going to hurt, especially since these recoveries have gotten quite sizable. But there was a big double chain miss from Project Will and Merc, and now Florida has built up a quite decent buffer. We're almost at the end. 900,000 score on both Mikey M and Selby. There is just not enough time. Mikey M and Florida have done it. They have done what I thought would be impossible. It is a break point on the tapping against New Jersey A, and Florida are still in the ring.
Wow, oh my God. Celebi with that unfortunate miss at the end, but that did not matter because of the recoveries that Equivocator has provided for Mikey M for them to win out this breakpoint. A necessary one for them to bring this back. 2 points behind, but now a point, a pick, a next pick for them to have that opportunity to almost get to that tiebreaker.
Mikey M with the FC to bring things home. And the supporting combos from Equivocator and FireGen also a little bit stronger than their counterparts as, I mean, New Jersey out of tapping picks in the pool. Yes, Florida do still have to find one more map for themselves, one more pick of their own. But should they find that map, should they find that glue point, it is up to New Jersey, and they are in a bit of a weird spot. Yes, there might just be the DT1, the comfort pick of Selby and Little Nebula, but I mean, Selby finally finding some solid ground to stand on in the Nomad 2, but the rest of the picks in the pool not going so well for her, clearly showing some frustrations in the chat earlier. So there is a question above New Jersey's heads of where they want to pick should this match reach that point.
Yeah, and already going into a timeout. Yeah, that's kind of expecting, maybe not expecting to win out that Nomad 2, but also that roster changes of putting in Project Will and Merc was actually consequential there. So yeah, maybe that flow could be one of the Achilles heels of New Jersey there, but more so on that Nomad 2 department, the tapping department, because of Kevin and Little Nebula not being really comfortable on it. Maybe even the stamina factor too. But yeah, Florida, they can just kind of relax just a little bit, but also more pressure than ever on them to win out their next pick here, especially when the rest of the picks could be a bit of a gamble for them.
Yep, and Florida, this is of course Florida's timeout. Finding success on the easy earlier and a little bit of a lucky break, you might call it, and then as well on the Hard Rock 3 consistency and the Force Mod 1 consistency as well. So I mean, we've had this trend, I've talked about it, we've been talking about this trend, Valine, of Florida finding the early breaks but then just holding on into the rest of the map, and New Jersey just breaking a little bit too early and letting Florida take that lead back in the 11th hour. But it's going to be Nomad 5 Ethken, and I don't think this is a very long map, Valine. This is just over 2 minutes.
Yeah, I actually kind of expected New Jersey to pick this, I'm not gonna lie, because of that pseudo tapping element of rhythm. But yeah, I mean, Florida, if they're feeling comfortable on it, especially with that really crazy score of Mikey M seeing that Nomad 2, then by all means pick this Nomad 5. But also with this kind of variable BPM that comes to play, and also with that AR kind of being a little bit low as well, you do need that consistency and a lot of different skill sets here.
Yeah. I mean, we should perhaps take a moment to compare the rest of the options. There's not a lot of maps left up at this stage in the match. There's the Force Mod 2, the DT1, the entire Hard Rock pool has been... I guess there's the Hard Rock 2 that might have been an option for Florida, more of the aim on a bit of a longer map, but actually not too high of a max combo. And you are sort of picking into Little Nebula, who has been so consistent on the aim so far. So perhaps taking a look at those other options, as well as the Nomad 4, a bit of a gambly map, and choosing for the Nomad 5, maybe just the best of the rest.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of an interesting roster here. Merc, Yoshi Lover, and Kevin coming in. Maybe it's because of that low AR 9.2. So it's just all about them, if they can reliably, kind of comfortably hit those BPM, variable BPM, like kind of tapping sections here. But Florida picking this now, I mean, there is some aims to account for as well here, but hopefully more to come here on this Nomad 5.
Yep, Florida going to be putting in Equip here, Vona and Firegen, who will be the first to miss, and this map is pretty short again, just around 1,000 max combo, I believe somewhere between 800 and 1,000, and I mean, really hoping that a break about a 80 to 100 combo in won't matter too much on this map.
Yeah.
Once again, taking a look at the accuracies, it's actually Merc struggling again, all the way down at 90%. Double 95s for Yoshi Lover and Kevin, however, as Equivocator and Firegen do match, and it's Vona to actually match Merc at the moment. So despite the early miss from Firegen, things will still stay close, but there goes Yoshi Lover, been so consistent, and there goes Kevin as well. Actually, Yoshi Lover was a Banjo break, but Kevin's, I think, might be real.
Yeah.
And that disadvantage Florida.
Oh yeah, but not so much actually. Not with that miss from Equivocator here. I think both of them just missing on that aim here, not really more so on that variable BPM tapping. So it's just gonna be a close one once again here on this Nomad 5. But also a consequential miss in Merc though, as this as the second half of the map is underway, and now it's just gonna be those two big combos from the side of Firegen and Vona. Despite Firegen missing earlier, this recovery is much more important though.
Yeah, Merc, you really don't want to be missing there. That one really going to hurt, and visibly frustrated, riding in the smoke as Vona and Firegen, basically the two FCs up against the lone FC of Yoshi Lover. Equivocator matching Kevin's recovery, and this is already around 100,000 score lead in the favor of Florida, just above that, and it's going to continue to grow as we are basically done with the map at 900 combo for Vona and Yoshi Lover. We're already into like the last 100 combo of the map or so, and I think this might just be blue point for Florida here.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that, you know, maybe that this is a scary score early because of that Yoshi Lover hold, but never mind. This map is really short and no more opportunities for New Jersey to bring that score back, and Florida winning a necessary pick of their own here, their last pick ever, and just one more step in the Valley of the Voices, but a step that would be a much taller task in New Jersey's pick.
Yep. Florida finally managing to find a map where where Vona doesn't break earlier and where the early break of Firegen is inconsequential. And it's all up to New Jersey now, as we alluded to earlier, out of tapping picks. What do you have left in the tank? How much gas do you have? What kind of gas do you have? Do you have the correct kind? Are you on regular? Are you on plus? Are you on premium? Are you on diesel? And is that the right gas for the map that you want to pick?
Me personally, I want gas to be cheaper, looking into today's current economic and political environment. But right now, the maps that are open left is Nomad 4 and Force Mod 2, I believe, hidden.
And yeah, DT1 and Hard Rock 2.
Yeah, DT1 and Hard Rock 2. Yeah. So New Jersey,
Lots of
I know.
aim.
Yeah, New Jersey, I know you do have been winning the aim. You can maybe pick into the Hard Rock 2 if you want. But instead, you're going to the Force Mod 2 here.
Yeah, this is, I mean, there's not a lot of reference points for the remaining maps. Like, yes, you have the aim on the Hard Rock 2, the DT1, but the Nomad 4 and Force Mod 2, both being tech maps, haven't really been picked. Yes, there was the Hard Rock 1 earlier, but the Force Mod 1 also going the way of Florida, so I guess not 0 reference points. But still quite a scary pick, having split the skill set so far. Now, this one is a bit of a shorter map, again, just under 2 minutes. And they did, of course, win the other short tech map, the Hard Rock 1, off the backs of a Little Nebula FC. We'll see if he can come in again to replicate that. But this one a little bit trickier with some of the sliders and how they overlap, and as well as some of the slider jumps. Actually, will he even be playing this one as currently Celebi in the lobby with 2 of New Jersey's reading players.
Yeah, so kind of interesting. This is kind of the first appearance of Precision actually in this matchup here. We don't really have a read on what either of these players can really be competing on against in the hard work department. But I mean, in the hidden, it's like kind of easy for Yoshi Lover to be in, and also Kevin as well, and also Vona here. But I think it's just going to be Pori for once again in that hidden hard rock. I mean, they did underperform there, but it was just that Vona heroic of Force Mode 1 that wanted them out, especially with that I think it was Firegen recovering to help out that
Yes.
Vona combo here. So hopefully, if they want that tiebreaker chance, they can kind of repeat it here. But maybe 4-4 could turn out much more here as well.
I think 4-4 is going to have to perform here because unlike the Force Mode 1, there's not a lot of time in this map for recovery to kick in. If the early breaks come in again, if they strike again for Florida, then things might be coming to a quicker end than we expect here, as it's actually going to be Kevin on the easy, matched by Vona. Who else but these two to put on a bit of a show for us in the penultimate hour of this match? Of course, the multiplier 1.8x already in your overlay pre-calculated as Celebi matching Porifor's hidden hard rock with her own hard rock and Yoshi Lover on the hidden up against Firegen's hidden.
Yeah.
As Vona having some really big struggles, really big misreads, and I mean, that's so many. It's not just the misses, it's also an incredibly big app drop as he continues to struggle here in this middle section of the map. And I mean, the early breaks, this is really catastrophic for Florida at the moment.
Yeah, was he sleeping on the wheel though? Like he was just like kind of shaking up right as the section of the map was about to begin.
Yeah.
So it's just already an advantage of New Jersey, especially already halfway towards the map here with this length of the map. And Firegen just being the sole one to hold out here, and Firegen needs to be the one to hold up for Florida to have this chance of tiebreaker, but it's just not looking so great right now.
Yeah, and this is already 250,000 score in their favor. Kevin still holding on to the easy FC, as is Yoshi Lover, and Celebi, she broke so early on into the map, it didn't even matter. As, I mean, Firegen is going to be doing his damnedest, but this score lead already so far gone. There goes Firegen, going to be traded out by Kevin, but the score lead will not stop its advance. Florida, you have fought well, you have fought valiantly. You made your furthest ever run in 5USC, making it all the way to the final stage, a place where you have never reached before, but this is where your run will end. This is where your feet must stop. And it is New Jersey who will take the map and the match and move on in the second round of the losers bracket of 5-digit United States Cup 2026.
Yep, matching their best placement now. New Jersey having an opportunity to go even further beyond here to that top 3 spot, but awaiting their opponent now from, I think, what is it, Pennsylvania versus Georgia? Georgia being the 12th seed here, so kind of matching that crazy run that Virginia was displaying there. Virginia's run actually kind of stopped from that Florida team. But yeah, Florida, a well-fought battle here for a 7th seed here against the 3rd seed. And, you know, kind of unexpected on him as well. But New Jersey, congrats to them to making it to top 4.
Yep, congratulations, of course, to Yoshi Lover, Little Nebula, Merc, Kevin, Celebi, and Project Will, as we must give them their flowers and give the commiserations to Florida as an incredible lower bracket run from them this year, but this is as far as they get. And New Jersey stands firm at the gate of the topmost echelon of teams in 5USC. Florida not allowed in yet. Try again next year. And as for us, that is going to be see you again next day, tomorrow, because that is when we are going to have our next match. Of course, this was the only match for tonight. We will see you guys in the afternoon/evening tomorrow, depending on your time zone, of course, at Monday 0 UTC. That is going to be Pennsylvania versus Georgia in the Major League, where we will see who is going to be the opponent of New Jersey. And I'm sure New Jersey will be watching that match closely, of course, having to play their potential match. What looks to be right after that, as yeah, I do believe they are scheduled for a Monday 2 UTC match against the Victor. So we will have those matches as well as another Monday UTC 0 UTC match in minor league. That's going to be Texas B team versus New Jersey. Again, it is their B team making their moves down in the minor leagues. But for now, that has been all from us this evening. I've been Bless, joined by Valine, and we will see you next time. Good night.